Welcome. NSG 318. Study Section 3. Theory and Nursing Research 1. Introduction. You ever wonder how people come up with reason why things are the way they are? Perhaps your parents have told you several times when you were young not to play in the rain because if you do, you will catch cold. Then you go ahead to do this and you get cold. As you grow up to read sciences, you then discover the real cause of the cold is not just the rain, but the effect it has on your body. In this study section, you will learn various theory terminologies, type of theories, theory degeneration and development, sources of theory for nurses. Learning outcomes for study section 3. At the end of this study, you should be able to define the various theory terminologies, discuss different types of theories, discuss the process of theory generation and development, describe the different sources of theories for nursing research. Theory terminologies. Theories are used by everyone to explain happenings in their lives and in their environments. Theories are also used by nurses to explain happenings of significance to nursing. Nursing research and nursing practice should be theory-based. When research is guided by a theoretical framework, the theory guides the research process from the beginning to the end. That is, from identifying a research problem through the conclusion of the study. The following theory terminologies will be discussed: theory, concept, construct, variable, proposition, empirical generation. Theory. One of the most commonly quoted definitions of theory was formulated by Kellinger, 1973. A theory is a set of interrelated construct concepts, definitions, and propositions that present a systematic view of phenomena by specifying relations among variables, with the purpose of explaining and predicting the phenomena. Theories explain why one event is associated with another event or what causes an event to occur. Theories are composed of concepts and the relationship between these concepts. Relationships between these concepts are presented in theoretical statements, which are frequently called propositional statements. These propositions are connected in a logical system of thoughts. Theory comes from the Greek word theoria, which means building, spectacle, or speculation. Speculation is an appropriate word to use when discussing theories. Theories are always speculative in nature and are never considered to be true or proven. They provide description and explanation of the occurrence of phenomena, are always subject to further development or revision, or may even be discarded if not supported by empirical evidence. Concepts. Concepts are the building blocks of theory. A concept is a word picture or mental idea of a phenomenon. Concepts are words or terms that symbolize some aspects of reality. The meaning of a concept is conveyed by the use of a definition and examples of instances of the concepts. Concepts may be very concrete, such as the human brain, or may be very abstract, such as intelligence. Concrete concepts may be specified and defined more easily than abstract concepts. E.g., the concept of a sport could symbolize with a person playing football as seen in figure 3.2. Constructs. A highly abstract, complex phenomenon, concept is denoted by a made-up or constructed term. Construct is the term used to indicate a phenomenon that cannot be directly observed but must be inferred by certain concrete or less abstract indicators of the phenomenon. Examples of constructs are awareness, mental health, self-esteem, and assertiveness. Each of these constructs can be identified only through the presence of certain measurable concepts. Wellness might be defined through laboratory data or clinical observation. The laboratory data will be a very objective indicator of wellness, whereas the clinical observation would be a less objective indicator of wellness. Variables. These are concepts that are observable, measurable, and have a dimension that can vary. For example, temperature is a variable that is observable, measurable, and vary from high to low. Variables can be dependent, that is, a variable that is influenced by other variables. proposition links concepts of a theory together, so sometimes can be described. Propositional statements are derived from theories or from generalization based on empirical data. Empirical generalization. When a similar pattern of events is found in the empirical data of a number of different studies, the pattern is called an empirical generalization. Reynolds, 1971. Empirical generalization summarizes the results of several empirical studies. Jacobs, 1974, proposed an example of a nurse who observed 40 or 50 preoperative patients and find that each is anxious. Many studies have shown that women attend church more often than men. The empirical generalization can therefore be made that women are more frequent church attendants than men. Hypothesis. A hypothesis predicts the relationship between two or more variables. Hypotheses present the researcher's expectation about the outcome of a study. They form a bridge between the abstract world of theory and the concrete reality of nursing practice world. They may be directional, specifying a direction for the relationship, or not directional, simply stating that there will be difference between groups or variables. Through hypotheses, theoretical propositions can then advance scientific knowledge by supporting or failing to support the tested theory. Model. The more complex the issue, the greater is the need to create order out of chaos by constructing models. Blackwell, 1985. A model is a symbolic representation of some phenomenon or phenomena. Bush, 1979, wrote that a model represents some aspect of reality, concrete or abstract, by means of a likeness which may be structural, pictorial, diagrammatic, or mathematical. Probably, the most common usage of the term model is when discussing structural types of model, such as model trains, model airplanes, models of the human heart as seen in figure 3.4. The types of model that nurses are interested in when conducting nursing research are generally of the structural or diagrammatic form. A diagram or picture can portray a theory in a fashion that clearly demonstrates the structure and parts of the theory, whereas a theory has focuses on statements or explanation of the relationship between phenomena, a model focuses on the structure or composition of the phenomena. Types of theories. Theories can be described according to the range of phenomena they describe and explain. There are two main types of theory: grand theories, middle-range theories. Grand theories. Grand theories are concerned with a broad range of phenomena in the environment or in the experiences of humans. Grand theories are important in every discipline, according to Fitzpatrick and Wall, 1996. A grand theory serves as a guiding light, as a historical author of disciplinary beliefs, and as a provider of visions of the future. Although grand theories are revered by many nurses, middle-range theories have been found to be more valuable to nursing research than have grand theories. The works of many of the nurse theorists have been identified as conceptual models at the grand theory level. Some nurses have contended that these models do not drive research. Triprimer, Woodworth, Mcklosky, and Bulchek, 1996. Middle-range theories. Middle-range theories have a much narrow focus. They are concerned with only a small area of the environment or of human experiences and incorporate a small number of concepts. One of the shortcomings of the use of middle-range theories appears to be the most of them are from other disciplines. Examples of these theories include social support, coping, anxiety, adult learning, body image, stress, and helplessness. Although knowledge does not belong to any one discipline, each discipline looks at phenomena from a different perspective. Few disciplines are connected with people who are ill. For example, learning theories that may be useful with well people may not be appropriate for sick people who not only are ill, but are under a great deal of stress, An individual whose normal preferred learning mode is auditory may need a totally different approach when hospitalized. This person may now need visual as well as auditory learning signals, and the signals may need to be repeated several times. Therefore, we cannot assume that the theory used in one discipline should be transferred directly over used for another discipline. Modifications may be needed, or the theory may be deemed inappropriate for use in nursing. Theory generation and development. Researchers are concerned with both theory generation and the development of theories. The two activities go hand in hand. The processes of theory generation and development of theories through testing are shown below. As can be seen, theory generation and development involve both inductive and deductive reasoning processes. Deductive reasoning proceeds from the general theory to the specific empirical data. The deductive process moves from a general abstract explanation to a specific event in the real world. A hypothesis is deduced from a theory, and the hypothesis is empirically tested in a real-life situation. Inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning, on the other hand, proceeds from the specific empirical data to the general theory. When an inductive process is used, data are gathered from a real-life situation, and the researcher tries to derive a general explanation of this behavior or event. The question is asked, how can I explain what I've been observing? For example, you might observe that patients who have been occupied in some activity, such as watching television, seem to be less anxious than patients who have not been involved in any activity. You continue to observe many patients, and you find that this pattern seems to hold true for most of the patients on the units where you work. Your explanation for this phenomenon will involve an inductive reasoning process. An existing anxiety theory might provide an explanation for the phenomenon that was just discussed. If no existing theory can be located that explains this phenomenon, the researcher may start the process of generating a new theory. After empirical data are gathered on a number of occasions, empirical generalizations are made. The next step is to develop propositional statements. Finally, the propositional statements are logically related to form a theory. Sources of theories for nursing research. Nurses have available to help them a wealth of theories upon which to base their research. These theories have been developed in nursing and in many other disciplines. At the present time, nurses continue to use many theories from other disciplines. Theories from nursing. Although there are a number of nursing conceptual models, only a few theories have been derived from these models. Additionally, there have been a few studies in which these theories have been tested. Abdallah and Levan 1994 wrote that one of the gaps in nursing research is the lack of tested nursing theories. Some nurses have been questioned the usefulness of nursing theories. Others, such as Rosemary Pass, have made stringent pleas for the use of nursing theories in nursing research. In an editorial in Nursing Science Quarterly, past 1996, Pass wrote that knowledge continues to be expanded through nursing. Best research studies and practice projects offering much promise for survival of the discipline in the 21st century. She asserted that articles on nursing theory, best research, and practice are being published in journals in greater number than ever before. She also mentioned the growing number of international conferences that focus on nursing theory. Although nurse researchers have generally used theories that were not developed by nurses, there are many examples in the literature of studies that relied on the theoretical work of nurses. Examples of studies that used Orem's, Rogers, and Neumann's models were presented earlier. Additional theories developed by nurses can be identified in the published studies. Some of these include Cox 1982, Interaction Model of Client Behavior, IMCHB, Michel's 1988 Uncertainty Theory, King's 1981 theory of goal attainment, Pender's 1987 health promotion model, and Pepler's interpersonal theory 1988. An example of a study that used Michel's theory and one that used Pepler's theory will be presented. Michel's theory of uncertainty in illness. Michel 1988 was used to examine the relationships among illness, uncertainty, stress, coping, and emotional well-being of clients with multiple sclerosis who were beginning a drug trial. Wenema, Shivers, Goodking, and Rudick, 1996. The results suggested that when a client enters a drug trial with high level of illness, uncertainty, and stress, he or she is likely to experience mood disturbances and not be very hopeful about the effectiveness of the drug that is being prescribed. Pepler's interpersonal theory, Pepler 1988, was used as the framework to study nursing students' knowledge and anxiety about AIDS. Bower, Webb, and Stevens, 1994. Pepler's theory describes the relationship between anxiety and learning. The experimental group attended a CSAR workshop where participants were given information about AIDS and participated in exercises that focus on anxiety awareness. Findings indicated that recognition of anxiety contributed to studies learning about AIDS. Theories from other disciplines. Nursing is referred to as practice discipline. It has been said frequently that nursing, as a practice discipline, has borrowed knowledge from other disciplines, such as chemistry, biology, sociology, psychology, and anthropology. Levan, 1995, has opposed the use of the term borrowed. She said it indicates that something needs to later be returned. Levine wrote, "The fruits of knowledge are not the private domain of one discipline, to be returned like a borrowed cup of sugar to a neighbor. The use of knowledge from other disciplines is necessary, but frequently, this knowledge is not suitable to the needs of the nursing profession. Nurses must find a way to adapt the numerous theories from other disciplines. Once these theories have been adapted, they should be considered as shared knowledge rather than as borrowed theories." Stevens, 1979. Table 3.1 presents theories from other disciplines that has been used to explain phenomena in nursing. These theories concern concepts such as social learning, role socialization, stress, helplessness, cognitive dissonance, human development, motivation crisis, relaxation, pain, anxiety, body image, job satisfaction, family interactions, communication, coping, moral reasoning, health behaviors, and change. Many nursing studies have used theories from other disciplines. Summary of study section 3. Theories are used by everyone to explain happenings in their lives and in their environments. Theories are also used by nurses to explain happenings of significance to nursing. The following are terminologies used when discussing theories: theory, concept, construct, variable, proposition, empirical generalization, and model. There are two main types of theory: grand theories and middle-range theories. Grand theories are concerned with a broad range of phenomena in the environment or in the experiences of humans. Middle-range theories have a much narrow focus. They are concerned with only a small area of environment or of human experiences and incorporate a small number of concepts. Researchers are concerned with both theory generation and the development of theories. Theory generation and development involve both inductive and deductive reasoning processes. Deductive reasoning proceeds from the general theory to the specific empirical data. Inductive reasoning, on the other hand, proceeds from the specific empirical data to the general theory. Nurses base their researches on various theories. These theories have been developed in nursing and in many other disciplines. At the present time, nurses continue to use many theories from other disciplines. End of study section 3.